The vibration against my thigh startled me awake. It was 3:17 a.m. Molly, my wife of 10 years, was curled up beside me, seemingly fast asleep. I fished my phone out from under the covers, but it wasn't mine. It was hers. She must have rolled onto it. The notification glowed on the screen. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, baby. Miss you so much, Soko." A cold dread seeped into my bones. This wasn't a message from her mother, her sister, or any of her friends. The casual intimacy, the baby, the kisses, it was an illicit whisper in the dark, meant for someone else. My first instinct was to wake her, to confront her right then and there, but something held me back. A chilling calm settled over me. I needed to know more. Without thinking, my thumb typed a reply. "Tomorrow. What time should I expect you?" I slipped her phone back onto the nightstand and pretended to sleep, my heart hammering in my ribs. It felt like an eternity, but mere seconds later, her phone vibrated again. I could feel her stir beside me. She fumbled for the phone, the screen illuminating her face in the pre-dawn gloom. I watched through slitted eyes as she read the message. Her eyes widened, her breath hitched, and the phone clattered onto the hardwood floor. She bolted upright, her eyes darting to me. "Pee-poo, she stammered, her voice barely a whisper. I sat up, feigning grogginess. "What's wrong?" "Nothing," she said too quickly. "Just a bad dream." She scrambled out of bed, picked up her phone, and rushed into the bathroom, locking the door behind her. The confirmation slammed into me like a physical blow. My suspicions, which had been simmering beneath the surface for months, the late nights at work, the hushed phone calls, the vague excuses, were all true. Molly was cheating on me. I lay there staring at the ceiling, the world as I knew it crumbling around me. We had built a life together, a home, a future, and now it was all tainted, poisoned by her betrayal. The bathroom door finally clicked open, and she emerged pale and trembling, her eyes red-rimmed. She didn't meet my gaze. "We need to talk," she began, her voice choked with emotion. "I think we do," I replied, my voice chillingly calm. "Who is he?" The blood drained from her face. She tried to speak, but no words came out. The silence stretched thick with unspoken accusations and shattered trust. Finally, she whispered a name. "David. He's a colleague. David. The new project manager. The charming, charismatic one who always seemed to be lingering a little too close to Molly at company events." It all clicked into place. Over the next agonizing hour, the sordid details spilled out. The stolen glances, the late-night dinners disguised as work meetings, the clandestine weekend getaways. With every word, the knife twisted. "Keep her," she cried, begging for forgiveness, swearing it meant nothing. But her pleas fell on deaf ears. The damage was done. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. The rage simmering inside me was too intense for that. I simply told her to leave, to pack her things and go. She left that morning, a ghost fleeing the scene of her crime, and I was left alone in the wreckage of our marriage. The silence of the empty house amplified the hollow inside me. But the calmness was a facade. Beneath the surface, a plan was forming. I wouldn't let them get away with this. I would make them pay. My first move was subtle. I contacted the HR department at our company, anonymously reporting David's inappropriate relationship with a married colleague. Corporate policy was clear. Fraternization between employees, especially those in different departments, was strictly forbidden. Then I went for the jugular. I knew David was married too. His wife, Emily, was a stay-at-home mom, completely oblivious to her husband's infidelity. I found her on social media and sent her an anonymous message, attaching screenshots of the text messages between Molly and David. The fallout was swift and brutal. David was fired within a week. His wife, devastated and furious, kicked him out of their house. Their seemingly perfect life, built on lies and deceit, imploded. But my revenge wasn't complete. I wanted a confrontation, a chance to look David in the eye and see the fear and shame reflected back at me. I tracked him down to a local bar. He was sitting alone at the counter, nursing a drink, the picture of misery. I walked up to him, my heart pounding with a mixture of anger and satisfaction. "David," I said, my voice low and menacing. He looked up, his eyes widening in recognition. He paled, his hand trembling as he reached for his drink. "Paolo," he stammered, his voice barely audible. "Enjoying your drink?" I didn't answer. I just stared at him, my eyes filled with a mixture of disdain and triumph. "You know," I continued, leaning closer, "I always thought you were a decent guy. I guess I was wrong." I'm sorry," he mumbled, avoiding my gaze. "Sorry," I scoffed. Sorry doesn't cut it, David. You destroyed my marriage. You ruined my life. My voice rose, attracting the attention of the other patrons. David shrank back in his seat, his face flushed with shame. You took something that wasn't yours, I said, my voice laced with venom. And now you've lost everything. I turned and walked away, leaving him alone in his misery. The feeling of satisfaction was intoxicating. I had taken back control. I had made them pay. The following months were difficult. The pain of betrayal lingered, a constant ache in my chest. Rebuilding my life was a slow, arduous process. I started seeing a therapist, focusing on my work, reconnecting with old friends. It wasn't easy, but I was determined to move on. One day, several months later, I received a message from Molly. She apologized again, expressing her deep regret for what she had done. She said she had hit rock bottom, losing her job, her husband, her home. She was starting over, trying to rebuild her life. I didn't reply. I didn't know what to say. Part of me still harbored anger and resentment, but another part, a smaller, more compassionate part, felt a pang of sadness for her. She had made a terrible mistake, a mistake that had cost her dearly. I deleted the message, closing that chapter of my life for good. The scars would always remain, a reminder of the pain and betrayal I had endured, but I had survived. I had emerged from the wreckage stronger and more resilient than ever before. And as I looked toward the future, I knew that I would never allow myself to be a victim again.